Tonight on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, someone at this motel has a pretty good racket going on, secretly taking pictures of rich people having affairs and then blackmailing them with those pictures. But when a wife starts investigating her husband's infidelity, someone starts to get a bit murdery. Tonight's movie, Play Motel.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another night of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror! A year full of cuts, guts, and sluts! Tonight, we are heading up that Giallo train once again, because my goodness, I love it. I love Giallos. I mean, outside of slashers, I think it's probably my favorite subgenre of horror now. But anyways, so tonight we are going to do one that is a little bit salacious here. Oh, I can't show that part. Oh man, and that is the movie Play Motel. Play Motel. So what is the movie Play Motel about? Well, it's not really about the Play Motel, but it does take place often there. Anyways, a well-to-do man, a businessman, goes to the hotel, the motel, the whatever, and apparently at this place you can get some help relieving stress from some wonderfully talented ladies. And apparently also there's a adjoining room with a two-way mirror that someone else can watch you do that stuff and take pictures to later blackmail you. Yeah, right. And when the lovely lady that was helping this fine gentleman relax ends up dead, it fast becomes a mystery to figure out what exactly is going on at the Play Motel and why are people starting to get murdered. Yeah, and it kind of falls upon an actor and his wife who ended up spending some time at this motel, but not for the lascivious reasons. Anyways, they just end up having like one of the victims' body put in the trunk of their car. Anyways, they agree to help the police to try to figure out what's going on, who's responsible, and what should be done in regards to this situation. Because it would seem that this hotel is definitely running some sort of scam where well-to-do clients are doing stress relief and then having pictures of that stress relief sent to them, so they end up getting blackmailed. But now people are dying, and it seems to be that this porn studio has been supplying the stress relief people. Anyways, suffice it to say, an interesting little mystery and detective story awaits. Anyways, let's get to those scores, shall we? Because I totally fucked this up already. Anyway, violence and gore, I'm going to give this, excuse me, a 1 out of 5. Yes, the deaths, though there are a few, are very, well, unremarkable. You don't really get the spectacle as you would in some other Giallos. And, yeah, it's kind of disappointing in that fashion. Not a lot of blood, not a lot of violence. 1 out of 5. Shock value, I am also going to give this a 1 out of 5. Honestly, the shock value in this movie, depending on how you're going to watch it now. So, like, this is one of those movies where there was a time where a movie would come out and or they would be making a movie, and someone involved, whether it's a producer, the director, or whatever, really wants to sex it up a bit, and so they would just kind of like, add hardcore pornography elements to the movie. I mean, like, I think one of the more notorious instances of that was the movie Thriller, A Cruel Picture, and this one is no different. Now, this version, the movie you watch, has those scenes cut out, though you can view them in the special features. And that would be the shock factor that you would get in this movie, is that like, oh, and you can kind of see where they were going to go before they cut away in the regular version. But I'm sure there may be a version out there that the stuff is still like part of the main movie. And I guess if you have editing tools and Blu-ray rippers, you could like sort of patch them together and create a cut version. I don't know. Anyways, all I'm saying is that's the only thing that's shocking in this movie. There's not really anything like scary or just blah. So yeah, I mean, well, maybe like the car thing, but toward the beginning, the first kill, maybe. But yeah, it's 1 out of 5. Not much going on. Moving on to plot. The plot is a 2 out of 5. I mean, it's basically like sex scene, some plot development, sex scene, some plot development, sex scene, some rest of, and it's very the same damn thing pretty much, and the story doesn't really flow. And honestly, like the beginning of the movie is just kind of like, and it's really when the couple, the married couple, get involved, where the real movie starts to feel like it's getting somewhere, and it starts to like develop a really nice narrative. But the beginning of it just, and the sort of like reveal at the end was so like, oh yeah, I kind of see it, I kind of saw it coming, kind of give it away, and it feels almost like a couple different movies mashed together, because they're kind of in the first 2 acts. There was a lot of more standard Giallo-esque cinematography, where you have the close-ups, you had the eyes, and the way it looked and felt, cinematography-wise, felt very Giallo-like, and it sort of just kind of lost most of that when you were getting towards the 3rd act of the film. You're getting towards the end. It just kind of like devolved into just kind of, I mean, there is a little bit of it still like in one of the kills, but for the most part, it sort of lost that sort of atmosphere and edge. And so I'm going to blame the plot for all of that. I'm going to blame, because the plot's about the story and how it progresses and how the movie goes about telling its story. And it like, I wish it had a little bit more of that Giallo flavor throughout. And of course, the kinky sex things outside, like when we're in the motel, really kill a lot of the momentum of the movie. So anyway, so 2 out of 5. Moving on to acting, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. I really enjoyed the husband and wife combo, their sleuthing. I think they did a good job. The original businessman, I enjoyed his performance. Other than that, they're fine. They're okay. There's some good. There's some bad. There's some just mediocre. So 3 out of 5. Moving on to Nudity. Of course, this one's gonna hit the 5 out of 5. There's a lot of nudity in this movie. After all, you're dealing not only with people going to the hotel to have stress relief, but also there is this studio where people are taking very tasteful videos and pictures. Very tasteful, very on the up and up. Nothing lascivious at all. 5 out of 5. Okay, so moving on to enjoyment factor. I'm going to give this a sort of like on the edge 3 out of 5. I wish the violence had more impact. And like I said, I wish that Giallo feel was more consistent and throughout. The sex scenes could have been done differently, or at least more, like, they were just so standard and so very similar. And yes, we throw in, like, a little twist here and a little twist there with some cosplay and whatnot. But overall, it's just like, it's another one of those. It was like, complain about some of the, like nudity in the film and stuff like this. It's like, look, it was way more interesting when the wife was going to the photographer to kind of check him out to see what information she could glean, and it was like a photography session, and then it just got more and more naked. That was fine because that was more in line with the story, and the way they did it and shot it was well in the flow. It's just like the sex scenes just were kind of almost a little ridiculous and tedious at times. Anyways, so it's an alright narrative. It's very basic when it comes to the violence and the kills. But I do love the whole detective work of the married couple team, and I thought it was satisfying to watch that. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 just on that alone. So moving on to my overall impression, though, is a 2 out of 5. This is an underwhelming movie for the most part. There are just giallos that will do the job infinitely better in almost every aspect, even the nudity, even the sex. They will make it more entertaining, and that's kind of a shame. It's like they could have done something with the violence, they could have done something with the narrative, they could have kept that feel going throughout. That I'm just gonna pound that in there. Is that you're expecting a giallo through and through, and it just sort of loses itself toward the end. Anyways, so 2 out of 5 for overall impression, and that averages out to a 2.4 out of 5, which honestly is still solid for an average. It's not going to be up there like with some of the ridiculousness that we've covered this month, but it's still, it's a decent film, and I think it's worth checking out, and it's not like a waste of money. And I'll watch it a couple more times to at least, try to get a feel for, like, maybe I missed something in the first viewing or something like that, or I don't know. But, I mean, is for what it is, somewhat fun time. Just a little disappointing in certain aspects. So, there you have it. Play Motel. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. And don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. And I will see you next time for the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. Thank you for watching. And remember to stay scary, Internet. And also, if I'm like someone who's like rich and famous, I'm going to have the prostitutes come to my place. I mean, I'm just going to say, like, if I'm a well-to-do person and, I'm going to be prone to, like, the blackmailish stuff, I'm going to control the area that this shit happens in. I'm not saying that I'm going to do that stuff. I'm just saying if I were to do that stuff, I'm not going to some random hotel where I don't know shit about what's going on behind the scenes. I'll tell you that much. Okay, anyways.